Welcome to Wise Tales by Wonders. Today's story is titled The Price of the High. In the bustling city of Lagos, Nigeria, where life moved as fast as the yellow Danfo buses, weaving through chaotic traffic, lived a boy named Daniel. At just 17, Daniel had dreams bigger than his neighborhood could contain. He was bright, athletic, and full of promise. Everyone in the community said he was destined to become great, a future engineer, or perhaps even a star footballer. But life, as it often does, had other plans. Daniel lived with his mother, a widowed trader, and his younger sister, Ada. His father had died in a road accident when Daniel was only 8. Since then, Daniel had stepped up, helping his mother at the small roadside shop whenever he wasn't at school. Though the family was poor, love and laughter often filled their tiny home. Things began to change when Daniel gained admission into a prestigious senior secondary school in a more affluent part of town. He was thrilled, but it also meant he had to commute daily and mix with students from very different backgrounds. At first, Daniel tried hard to fit in. He buried himself in books, played football during breaks, and kept to himself. But one day, during lunch, he met James. James was the son of a wealthy politician. Charismatic and confident, he had a magnetic pull that drew others towards him. He dressed in expensive sneakers, had the newest gadgets, and talked like he knew the whole world. Daniel admired him and felt honored when James invited him to hang out after school. The hangout started innocently enough: football games, music, and the occasional soda at fast food joints. But soon things shifted. One evening, James pulled out a small bag of what he called happy powder. "It's nothing serious," James said, laughing. "Just something to take the edge off. You'll feel like a superhero." Daniel hesitated. He had heard the warnings in school about drugs, seen posters plastered around the city about their dangers, but he didn't want to seem weak. He didn't want to lose the only real friend he had made. So he tried it. At first, it felt like magic. The drug gave him energy, made him feel powerful, fearless. He began using it during exams, then before football matches. He believed it made him better, sharper. But what he didn't see was the shadow slowly creeping into his life. Daniel's performance began to change, not for the better, but for the worse. He became erratic, aggressive, and easily distracted. His grades fell. He missed classes. Teachers started to notice, and so did his mother. The once vibrant boy was now pale, with dark circles under his eyes and a temper he couldn't control. At home, he grew distant. He snapped at Ada for no reason. He stole money from his mother's purse, then from the shop. When that wasn't enough, he sold his phone. When that was gone, he started stealing from neighbors. James had long disappeared, expelled from school after being caught with drugs, but Daniel was far too gone. Eventually, Daniel dropped out of school. He told himself it was just for a while, that he would be back on track soon. But the drugs tightened their grip. He started hanging around abandoned buildings and street corners. His body weakened, his mind frayed. Ada, only 12, watched helplessly as her brother faded away. She often cried into a pillow at night, wishing the old Daniel would return, the one who tucked her in at night and helped her with homework. Their mother grew tired and heartbroken. Her customers whispered behind her. Some stopped coming altogether. She begged Daniel to come home, pleaded with him to get help, but he only shouted, insulted her, and stormed off. One night, after a particularly violent outburst, Daniel disappeared. The awakening, it was a raining evening when Daniel was found collapsed near the marketplace, unconscious and barely breathing. A kind stranger rushed him to a nearby hospital. The doctor said he had overdosed. His body was shutting down. When he woke up 2 days later, his mother was by his side, eyes swollen from crying, holding his hands. You almost died, Daniel, she whispered. Please, no more. For the first time in months, Daniel felt the weight of what he had become. He didn't recognize the skeletal figure in the mirror. His lips trembled and he broke down sobbing like a child. That moment was his turning point. Daniel spent 6 months in a rehabilitation center. It wasn't easy. Every day was a battle against cravings, against guilt, against shame, but he fought. With therapy, group counseling, and spiritual guidance, Daniel began to heal. He wrote letters to his mother and Ada expressing regrets and hope. He read books. He even began drawing again, a hobby he had abandoned long ago. When he returned home, finally, the road wasn't magically smooth. Trust had to be rebuilt. Some neighbors still whispered. Jobs were hard to find, but Daniel was determined. He started volunteering at youth center, telling his story to other teenagers. I thought I was strong, he would say, but drugs made me weak. They stole my dreams, my family, my dignity. If I can come back, so you can. But don't ever walk that road. He also enrolled in a technical college studying computer repairs. Slowly, he regained his family's trust. Ada smiled again. His mother's shop recovered. Daniel's story became a cautionary tale in the community. Schools invited him to speak to their students. He knew his pain had a purpose to warn others before it was too late. Drug abuse doesn't just ruin lives, it ends them. It begins with a lie. It's just a try. Just one try. But one try can become a chain. It doesn't discriminate. Rich or poor, smart or struggling. Anyone can fall. But with help, love, and determination, anyone can rise too. Daniel did, and he vowed never to fall again. The Price of the High is a story loaded with much moral lessons. One wrong choice can change your life forever. Daniel's entire future took a different turn the moment he agreed to take that first pill. Every decision we make today shapes our tomorrow. Peer pressure is powerful, but so is your voice. It is easy to follow the crowd, but real strength is found in saying no, especially when everyone else says yes. Drugs do not solve problems, they create more. Daniel took drugs to escape stress, but instead he found addiction, broken relationship, and near death. What other lessons have you picked from today's story? Share with us in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, like, and share. See you on the next magical tale.